Minasan konnichiwa und willkommen. And today I'm going to tell you guys another beloved tale. And that's Little Red Riding Hood. Based on the classic tale by the Brothers Grimm. But instead of the traditional old-fashioned way, my take is going to be in a more modern setting. So here we go. Once upon a time, in the ghetto streets of Los Angeles, California, there lived a little girl named Little Red Riding Hood, who lived with her father with the styling of Bob Ross. And not only was he a magnificent painter, but also a magnificent cook. One particular morning, the father made some ramen noodle soup, some slices of pepperoni pizzas, and some root beer to give to Little Red to take to her grandmother's house, who in this version has the styling of B. Arthur from the Golden Girls. And Little Red Riding Hood is actually now 16 years old and actually has a driver's license. And the father told her to stay directly on the path because there have been some wolf sightings nearby. And Little Red Riding Hood vows to take on her father's advice. And she drove off in her 1956 Chevy. You know, one of those cool looking cars with the flames on the top of the car. But first she had to pick up a couple of things at the corner store. Like those ginormous jawbreakers from Ed, Edd and Eddy. Then she went to the comic book store to pick up the latest issues of Batman. Because she is a tomboy. And while she was driving straight on the path, she encountered the wolf. And the wolf was telling her where she was going. "Hey, little lady, where do you think you're going on such a fine morning?"
"I'm going to my grandmother's house to bring her some wonderful food to eat, like ramen, pizza, and some root beer."
That sounds yummy. But then she just drove off. And the wolf was determined to have The wolf was determined to have his supper. As she was continuing driving, she met the woodcutter with the styling of Stone Cold Steve Austin. So I just basically call him Stone Cold Woodcutter. As in, and that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so. And the woodcutter was basically telling her, "Have a nice ride to Grandma's."
"I will, thank you."
But the wolf already beat her to the punch by entering her grandmother's house. And the wolf tries to disguise himself as Little Red Riding Hood.
"Who is it?" It's me, Little Red Riding Hood."
But what The Dorothy Spornak grandmother didn't realize that it was not Little Red Riding Hood at all. It was actually the big bad wolf. And the wolf actually ate her completely whole. And when Little Red Riding Hood finally made it to grandmother's house, which is actually a really ghetto looking house with a huge collection of gangster rap CDs, from Notorious B.I.G. to Tupac Shakur to P. Diddy, aka Puff Daddy, to Ice Cube to Ice-T to Schoolie D. And of course, Coolio and LL Cool J. And the wolf tries to disguise his voice to be like the Dorothy Spornak grandmother.
Who is it? It's me, Grandma, Little Red Riding Hood. Come in, dearie. In what, Blanche? Dog ears? Better than anyone else I know.
Little Red Riding Hood then suspected about Grandma's appearance.
Why, Grandma, what big ears you have. The better to hear you, my dear. Grandma, what big eyes you have. The better to see you, my dear. Why, Grandmother, what big teeth you have. The better to eat you, my dear. Ah! That really hits the spot. Maybe I should go out for some Chinese afterwards.
And then Stone Cold Woodcutter found out that Little Red Riding Hood y sus abuela had been eaten up by the wolf. So he devised a plan to set Little Red Riding Hood and her grandma free from the clutches of the big bad wolf by actually going inside his body and getting them out. And then the wolf realized that his supper has escaped. And Stone Cold Woodcutter knows a lot about karate, kung fu, and taekwondo. And he actually used the Kamehameha on the wolf, and he ran outside the house, never to be heard from again. Well, unless Steven Spielberg and Martin Scorsese got a hold of him and became the star in their next movie. One per director. So Little Red Riding Hood, her grandma, and Stone Cold Woodcutter all had a feast, which consisted of pizza, ramen noodles, General Tso's chicken, and tons of Bargs and Mug root beer. And they lived happily ever after. Por siempre felices. Okay, that should be enough of the video for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, comment. And as always, amigos, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen, sayonara, adios, and arrivederci. And make sure you click that bell icon so you'll get notified when I upload new videos. And I'll be back with another video shortly, so stay tuned. And for Fiona and Scott's adventures, if you ever meet Cinderella in person, please send her my love and support. I would deeply appreciate it.